What's up, people? It's your boy Bruffett back for another race. This race is the last series, stage 5 of the Fresh Out of 24 series. It is the Coastal Crown Loop. This race is a total of 14.7 miles and 870 feet in elevation. This should be a pretty good race, so let's check it out. So right out the gate, I get out as I typically do. I try to get out fast. I'm pushing 600, 700 watts just to establish myself in the front pack. But I'm not the only one thinking that. Everybody else too. But just like when most people take off, this race kind of reminds me of coming off the line. Kind of reminds me of the show Seabiscuit. For all my old heads out here, how you take off out the gate, how the horses take off out the start, but quickly slow down. Um, and once the race actually gets going, this race kind of follows. Most races kind of follow that same pattern. No race is gun ho from beginning to end. So I skip ahead a little bit. This race even though it was hilly, it did have a good amount of flat terrain. And so, not to bore you guys with a lot of the repetitive motion, I do skip ahead periodically in this race, especially the part that really aren't that interesting. But right now, I'm currently holding six, in between six and first place. I'm in the top 10, which is really where I try to be most races, just because it gives me the best position to make a push or to fend off an attack if I have to. Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident with my power output and my repeatability from my power output. So I don't mind being out in front or in the front pack. I don't necessarily enjoy leading the race because I like to get the benefit of the draft, but I don't mind being out with the front pack. So right now we're just going. People are definitely jockeying for position. So here is the first series of hills. This race, although it didn't have any extremely steep hills, the hills were fairly long, which kind of limited people's attack or ability to attack because trying to climb a long hill, although it wasn't super steep, but the fact that it was long really trying to do that over the course of a race while sustaining an attack really wasn't feasible for most riders. And so, although you did see some attacks this race, this was still a fairly conservative race, just from an effort standpoint. As you can see, I'm only pushing 400 plus watts this race, and I'm pushing that many watts because I'm a heavier rider, and I'm going up a hill. I do have a feather at my disposal. I don't use it right now because I really don't need it with 3 to 4% incline. But as I get tired and as the hill actually gets a lot steeper, you will see me cut it on. One of the things I observed during this race is my heart rate. And I've really gotten in tune doing Zwift with really focusing on heart rate and really focusing in my heart rate zone, making sure I don't red line too much or stay in the red too long, because that's when it becomes almost impossible when you're in the red to properly flush the lactic acid out your system. So as you can see, I'm still not using my feather. I think I hold on to my feather for the steepest hill, the steepest part of the climb, um, because I can see with the map on the right, right up under the 3% that's in yellow, or the 4% now that's in yellow. I see that I have a very steep hill coming up, so I do try to hold on to it for as long as possible, because I want to be able to leverage it to climb that hill. Being there were two power-ups offered this race, the ghost and the feather. And when you're a heavier rider, and you get a hold of a feather, you tend to be gun shy on using it because you may not necessarily get it again. And that was definitely me. I probably could have used it at that first set, at that first heel, but I wanted to hold on to it because when it comes to the hardest part, I wanted to be able to leverage it. Here we're getting into the meat of the hill. We're not quite there yet, as you can see. Just another long hill. The hills, again, just to repeat, the hills in this race weren't extremely steep, but they were just long as hell. They were just arduous. So here I cut on my feather, which helps me to lighten up. So all of a sudden my watts kick up, and I don't struggle as much going up a hill. Honestly, this was probably a tactical error, because I probably should have waited uh, for the steeper part of this hill. But at this point, I was just trying to use an opportunity to recover somewhat from all the hill work I've been doing thus far. And so I guess it was something that, although I shouldn't have did it, it was something that I needed to do, in order to give myself the best chance of winning. So right now, as you can see, we're still climbing the hill. The pack has broken up a little bit, but not a whole lot, but it did break up. The stronger hill riders are definitely at the top. As you can see, the person right behind me, they're using the feather to kind of maintain at the crest of the hill. Me, I'm okay with this position, even though I am kind of giving up ground right now. I'm jockeying between 7th and 10th place. I'm actually okay with this position, because I see that in a few moments we'll be on flat ground and I should be able to recover. I've been doing a lot of recovery work off the bike with my row machine and my air bike, and so I'm pretty confident that once I get to flat ground or a lower um, gradient ground, I should be okay. So here I use my uh, feather. What should I get here? Let me guess. Let's say ghost. Yeah, the ghost is probably the most useless the most useless power up there is. I well, I shouldn't say that. I should say I don't know how to use it effectively. So for me, it's actually pretty useless. Right now, everybody's jockeying for position, so you can see the pace has really quickened. Right now, my weight is at an advantage, and my power output is at an advantage. Although I'm hovering at 200, close to 300 watts, I'm clearly in the green, so my heart rate's doing good and my recovery. So here go my favorite part, and here go the best part of me being a heavier runner. Yeah, the benefits of being 112 kg. Yeah. Here come the smoke. As you can see, I cut the ghost on, right? So they don't even know I'm going by 'em. And you can see the guy right here. See the guy in the blue? He's like, damn, where did he come from? Yeah, it's over. It's over. You like this little effect? This little effect I found in the video editor app. This is the drone view. So I'm crushing it. I'm being a little bit extra with this view, but I definitely love it. You'll start seeing this more moving forward. As you can see, I cut on my rear view because I want to see how far everybody is behind me. Um, I'm humping. I think I get up to like an 8 second lead um, going down this hill. And again, I'm not pedaling at all. This is 100% just my weight that's carrying me down this hill. So as you can see, right now I'm in number one. Now here's the strategic move, and I thought about this move, and I knew if I got a lead, typically depending on the group, I might try to push the pace. But this was, I think, Tuesday, so this was Christmas Eve morning, and Zwift had actually broadened the race groups. So I think I was in, this is the C group or the B group, C group, and it was like 350 to like 520 or something like that. And coming into this race, I was like at a 405 um, race power or whatever it's called. And so I knew there were other stronger racers in here. So I had two choices at this point. I could either try to just gun it and open up the lead, or I could set back, kind of just push the race. As you can see, somebody said, who's going to run this down? For me, I wasn't really running. I was just trying to maintain a pace. And if they caught me, I knew they were going to have to work extra hard to catch me. And they did catch me, which was fine. This was actually part of the strategy. So again, my strategy was I could have just stepped on the gas, but I still had so much race left at this point, at this part of the race, that I didn't really want to do that and try to hold them off until the very end with so much race left. So what I did is I just kept a pretty aggressive pace, and I said, hey, if you guys want me, come get me. And I knew they were going to have to expend a whole lot of energy just to run me down. So right now we're just chugging along. Everybody for the most part is jockeying for position. I'm going in between first and 11th, obviously. That means this pack is pretty tight. You see somebody hit the ghost on us. I don't know why you hit the ghost, because unless you're a super strong rider, which Swift does a very good job of of making sure the groups stay competitive. So even if you have a ghost, unless you're willing to haul ass, it really doesn't benefit anybody, because nobody's actually trying to chase you down, because they understand that if you're in this group, that you're not above 520, and so that's catchable for a lot of the top riders. And so they know as well as you know that even with a ghost, the only thing you're doing is you're just doing the ghost just to get rid of that power up, but it's really not that effective. So this is coming into, we're getting close to the end. We're about to hit our second hill. Again, the hills are long, they're not steep. And so you have to just get ready to just hump up a long hill. It's an arduous climb, but it's not a brutal climb from a steepness standpoint. I'm hovering at like 500, I mean 400 plus watts. Right now I'm in the yellow. Haven't quite touched the red. I'm going back and forth in between the red and the yellow. So I am exerting myself a little bit. I think you could actually see it on my face that I'm starting to get tired, and I'm working extra hard. I'm doing a major no-no in cycling where I'm gripping the hell out of the bars, out of the handlebars, just trying to hold on and trying to generate as much power as I can. Right now, everybody's pushing up the hill. The pack did get away from me a little bit, but not the end of the world. Again, if you look at the top, the hill is steep. I do cut on the feather. I cut it on not when I wanted to, but I cut it on when I needed to because I needed to close the gap on the gap. I needed to close the gap on the pack. I knew they were trying to break away from me, and we didn't have enough race left we didn't have enough road left in order to run them down. So I needed to use it just to get back on the front wheel. So right now this is a pretty steep part. It hit 7%, 5%. We still got a lot left. We still got a lot more climbing left. The one thing you always have to say to yourself at this point in the race is most people are just as tired as you are. So just like you want to give up, they also want to give up. So it's the person who can pedal just that little bit longer that puts themselves in the best position to win. Right now, everybody's jockeying. I'm in fourth place. I'm going anywhere from fourth to sixth place. I think I actually dropped down to 10th at one point in time, which I'm fine with that because everybody's trying to make that final push. The idea is, hey, if you can make that push and you could just take the motivation out of somebody or the fight out of somebody, sometimes it's more mental than it is physical. So if you can make a push that takes the fight out of somebody, you good. So right now I'm working myself up with the front pack. I'm trying to catch number one, but damn, number one was actually strong. I mean, this dude is actually just powering up this hill. And is this is a brutal climb at this point. As you can see, I'm fatigued. I'm wobbling back and forth. I'm doing every major no-no that you do in cycling from an efficiency standpoint. But I'm just trying to hold on at this point, just like everybody else. I think we're at about a third of a mile left, and people are still climbing. I mean, we're still climbing. We're still at a 4% gradient, and we have less than a mile left in this race. Well, now we reached the top, and now it's time to go. Everybody's pushing, but usually, you'll see people hit 1,000+ watts at this moment. If you check me, I think I get up to like 600, and that's the extent of it because I'm exhausted. But just like I'm exhausted, everybody else is exhausted. So during this race, I got third place in this race, but when I look on Zwift Power, I got second. So it tells me that somebody probably didn't wear a heart rate monitor. But until next time, peace.